Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
Especially
Is it
foods on
live?
Highland Road. Charles Palmer, Finos, welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff along with Jimmy Ott. And Jordan Kinch's back in the studio. Glad that you're with us here this afternoon. Hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. A lot of World Cup action over the weekend. A lot of fireworks.
World
a lot
Cup
of golf.
has been better than expected. I mean, let's face it. I mean,
and even with all of the favorites in the knockout round dominating most of the most.
It's
of
been
the
a
games.
chalk fest, but there's been,
but it's been
competitive
very
games.
good game.
Oh.
Yeah, very good matches.
Come on now the Cape Verde, Argentina match, David and Goliath. I mean, like, you got plus 40 to 1 to advance on Cape Verde. So we're like 60 to 1. Charlie, Georgetown, Princeton. I mean, Georgetown was the number 1 overall seed in a tournament.
Yeah.
It was so close. It came down to
50 to 49, I think, was the final, or 51-50.
I think it was a 2-point game.
Is it?
I
Okay.
think the last shot was an
40,
attempt to send it in overtime, not to lose it.
51, whatever. It was extremely close, extremely low scoring. Pete Carrill ran his. They ran that motion offense that day as well. Georgetown was exceptionally frustrated, but they made the one basket that they needed at the end. And it would have been
it was one.
50-49?
Yeah, it was one.
One of the would have been at that point the biggest upset in the history of the NCAA tournament, because at that point no 16s had beaten ones, or certainly.
And this would have been a bigger one. The only thing is, you had more of a chance to pull this upset because there's no shot clock. So you could shorten the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they did.
No, this was one of the games that changed the rules.
Yep.
And I tie that into the soccer stuff because they just haven't modernized their rules for, like, of American sports. Every modernization of our sports here, football, basketball, it is increased offense. Has it not?
Yes.
I mean, you're
almost without exception.
I mean, and this is, and it is what it is. We're not changing the rules. It's madly popular.
Oh, it might be, but just on the appeals process. But we'll get to that in a second.
I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think it's. Can I tell you that I think we're in agreement. Neither one of us thought that this should be a red card. But that being said, the rules going into the tournament, to me, have to rule the day throughout the tournament. You can't change in the middle, even though this benefits the United States. How would we feel if Belgium's best player, leading scorer, had been red carded in the match before the United States, and the president of Belgium had called ahead of FIFA and said, wait a minute, we're not getting a fair shake here? We would have said, you have to follow the rules from the beginning, which on Friday they told us. I didn't read the whole FIFA Constitution. They said there's no appeals process for a red card.
This is an easy comparison for you for the sports we cover closely. This is an easy.
It's Alabama.
Alabama getting a favorable call out of Birmingham, right? Is it
yes,
not?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Somebody makes a call and they get what
you
they
want to get more specific?
Saban making a call, Bryant making a call. If you're trying to equate somebody to the president.
No, well, just this is one instance. This is getting a key player reinstated that was suspension, which is kind of unprecedented. With
no background no basis for an appeals process.
I'll fill you in. No players lost to a failed COVID test. A positive COVID test.
Yeah, that's that's a good.
The national championship game, the other team's got 17 players out.
I thought there's another one I remembered. George Brett and the Pine Tar. Okay, you remember George
Absolutely.
Brett? All right.
Of course.
So for those who don't know, George Brett you were allowed 17 inches of pine tar across your bat, and anything higher than that, and it was ruled an illegal bat. Brett homered, which gave the Royals the lead at Yankee Stadium. Greg Nettles pulled the bat out. Ninth inning. Greg Nettles pulled the bat out of the Royals' dugout. They laid it across home plate. They saw that he was well up the barrel. They called him out. This is a rule. This is a specific number of inches that you could have pine tar, glob up on the bat. The umpires called him out. Brett went nuts, but the game was over. Bowie Kuhn, who was the commissioner at that time, ruled that the bat should be allowed to stand because it did not violate, I remember this term vividly, the spirit of the rule. And because the Yankees had noticed this early in the series and were waiting for Brett to get a big hit before they finally called him out on it, the league offices know the home run stands. They had to go back and play a 4-out game. And I thought that was garbage, okay? You may not like the rule about the pine tar. I mean, that's kind of inside baseball, but it was a rule. And so you say, well, yeah, they broke the rule, but they didn't really break the rule. And that's what this is to me, okay? I don't think that you should necessarily be suspended for this red card without an appeals process in something as important as the World Cup. But that was the rule, or so we were told on Friday. And now you're saying, well, we got a call from the president, so now, and Belgium's like, wait a minute. We need an explanation on this. And I think they're within their rights. I mean, I know this helps the United States' chances of winning tonight. I want the U.S. to win, but you're changing the rules midstream.
So a little different than an actual outcome of a game. So you're talking about getting an available player. A lot of times in American sports, when you're talking about the eligibility of an American player, the opponent doesn't show that they really are afraid of him playing as much as this Belgium. I'm a little bit. That's noticeable to me that Belgium has been very, very vocal in their stance about no, he doesn't need to be playing. Instead of like, man, bring it on, kind of deal. So, but it's this is about a player availability as a ruling of something that actually happened. But so Trump is taking questions on it today. Surprise. I was kind of surprised. He was taking a little bit of a victory lap. It's not like him. But he early calling it? Is he early calling this? I mean, is this final? I mean, they have an appeal.
Belgium has asked for an explanation.
No, they have been granted an appeal.
Okay.
FIFA says you can appeal.
And I don't blame them. I would want to.
So how are you going to say, oh, yeah, you could appeal, but what more information do they need?
I'll tell you what, if you're Belgium, the information you need is what happened between Thursday and yesterday for you guys to clear him, okay? Was it just the president called? Is there something else here? There was no appeals process. They told us that on Friday. Mm-hmm. You got to live with this bad call. It's just like the Nolan no call. I'm sorry, it's a bad call. You got to live with it.
Right.
And then Sunday,
how many months did Saints fans think they were going to go back and
remember that guy filed a suit and everything? Yeah. Like, okay, card laid's a card played. I'm sorry, the ruling stinks, but you're going to have to live with it. So,
is he playing? What's Kalshi? Kalshi's got to have this up.
Max, you ought to have a Kalshi number.
Is he at 85%?
98%.
98 right now?
There's no appeal. That's ridiculous. This is FIFA trying to make it look like they're catering to both sides here. We're talking about one of the most corrupt organizations in the world, and they've made a decision based on really nothing. Two wrongs don't make a right here. It's great for the U.S. It's fantastic, but two wrongs don't make a right. This is not a fair way to go about things. It was clearly influenced. They can say it was an independent panel, whatnot. They were influenced by FIFA is helped if the U.S. does well. And it's not just because they're a host nation. It's good because soccer can grow here. Like there's more money involved in it, and there's money involved in this decision. So the idea that they're going to just cater to Belgium now and retract something the day of the match, the timing of this was the worst. If they wanted to go back on this, they should have gone back on it the day after the game. So, you know what? We went about things the wrong way. We used slow motion replay. We're not supposed to do that in this situation. We interpreted this call the wrong way on VAR. Therefore, we will overturn the red card. The problem is they're not even overturning the red card. They're not saying it was a bad call. They're just saying we're going to suspend this suspension for a year, which is ludicrous.
Which means if he gets another red card, this one comes back on.
Sure, but I mean, who cares?
Who cares?
When it's like a friendly.
What are the actual odds, Kalshi?
I haven't seen anything on this. I doubt they'd have something on this, but we can check it
What?
out. I don't.
Really? You don't think this is top?
This
golly.
story has gripped the sports world over the last 12 hours. Is he going to play or is he not going to play? And if he explain yourself, FIFA, if he plays or if he doesn't play. Because now if he doesn't play, you got to say, well, what'd you go back and overturn?
Balogun is 95% to start for the U.S.
There we
today.
go.
I think he starts if he's
Yeah,
going
of
to play.
course.
So, yeah, this
is lip service what they're
Yes,
doing for Belgium
100%.
today.
It's kind of
This is
a
dog and pony show.
weak appeasement, kind of.
Now, part of this that does have some power is UEFA, which is the European body. That's their conference, basically. Europe has the strongest kind of stranglehold on FIFA because, they have some of the biggest federations out there in terms of power and influence and history, and they have come out strongly against this. The problem is that, all these European people who are just pearl clutching over this whole situation, it's quite ironic because Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal, in Europe, played early in this tournament when he should have been suspended for the first two matches. Now, that was a qualifying match, so a little bit different to say a red card in a qualifying match as opposed to a red card in the World Cup itself. But nevertheless, the pearl clutching from Europe is a little ridiculous because they know this organization more than anyone. They were involved. They saw FIFA get raided by the FBI in Switzerland before. So the idea that they're just stunned that FIFA would make such a decision, they've been living in this world forever. They can't be surprised that FIFA would make a decision like this. And it's one of the reasons I was surprised the red card happened was I thought the U.S. would get a favorable whistle because FIFA just does this. They are inclined to do everything that's best. They are not this fair sporting institution. And so it's a little ironic that Europe, which should know better than anybody, is going to be just so upset that the red, white, and blue of the United States are getting one of these preferential treatments.
Is the red card appealable in most of the big leagues, in the Premier League, et cetera?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. But it's different for the World Cup.
Correct. They
Okay,
don't seem to have much of a rule there.
I'm going to need to ask why. I'm just thinking about American football. If a player gets suspended, the union, it's almost an automatic appeal, okay? So if you have red card appeals in the Premier League and La Liga and wherever else, why not in the World Cup?
There have been red card suspensions in the Premier League, or just removals. They rescind red cards all the time and say like the Premier League. The problem is this isn't they're not rescinding the red card. They're just saying we're not going to punish them for this. This is Alabama. If you're going to compare it to Bama, this is we're going to suspend our player for weeks 2 and 3 because we play Wisconsin or USC in week 1, right? This is when it matters. We're not actually going to punish here.
Yeah.
We're not removing the punishment. We're simply putting it where we think it's best. And like I said, it's great for the U.S. Balogun has been one of probably the most impactful player for the United States. 3 goals. He's been so important for this team. And so I'm not complaining as an American fan, but as a soccer fan, yeah, this is not fair. It's not shocking to me. I'm not stunned by it. The timing of it is a little surprising that they took so long to do this. But yeah, it's not good for soccer, but it's great for the U.S. and so we'll hope it matters. But maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe they win 3-0 and people will kind of overlook this a little bit.
No, they're gonna ostracize this. Ostracize is a word I just made up.
What
Yes.
goodwill does U.S. give back on a little bit of this, being this friendly host, but then gets a favorable call like this or a reversal?
Oh, a little bit, and especially if. Look, the president's a pretty polarizing figure, okay? People don't need much of a reason to love or hate him in the first place, so
I'm sure if it's 50%, approval rating in over here, it's less over there.
he couldn't get elected in Belgium this morning, but
No, but
not that he cares.
Yeah.
Look, him and the president, the head of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, they've been friends for a long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if that
Oh, is that
call
right?
is influential. Oh yeah, they're friendly.
From where? From
Well, it's apparently
Head
about
Start.
8 years. Gianni Infantino's been involved probably about that time, so maybe since then. Obviously, they've had the World Cup for about 8 years, so they would have known. This is since the U.S. was granted this World Cup, so
This
maybe
is the Bama AD and the commissioner of the SEC going off. Let's go have a beer and talk about this.
It's been a massive. Let's say if it's a flop, say if the heat wave and there's nobody coming over here, they're just afraid of whatever's going on in the world, a hesitancy to travel, and you got the stadium's a third filled. Get this ruling? Because FIFA follow the money. I mean,
No,
it's just that
that's-
simple. I
that's
mean,
100% of this
20.
debate.
Maybe not.
What's Kalshi odds on them hosting in 2038? I would say I want some of that.
Yeah, 101%.
And I mean, it's been a massive. Keep in mind now, you're playing more games because there are more teams, but 50% more attendance than the record after the pool play before the 32-team knockout. So you got 31 more games. I mean, it's going to be the ratings. Although it's been a chalk fest for the knockout round until Norway yesterday, they've been really close. It's. I mean, they've built. They have. It's been a massive success.
Here are your Kalshi odds. 29% for the U.S. to host the 2038 World
Give
Cup.
me-
It
give
was 53% before this ruling came down. So it's crashed significantly, and this goes back to Europe. They are reacting negatively to this. They believe that this
there
could
you go.
affect Gianni Infantino's re-election campaign because you have different federations all around the world. You got to appease each federation, and UEFA, he might have completely blown his support in England and Europe.
That number probably goes down if they win tonight. Their odds to host,
Especially in a
again.
close game. Yeah, you would have to think.
If they win 2-1 or 3-2 or something.
I'd like to think if they win like 3-0, that would go away. It probably won't. They're
Whoa.
the European
He'll probably
media-
have a hat
How many
trick.
of those games we seen, man? Hey, man, it's 3-0.
The U.S. has been pretty dominant. They've been an
in the
exception there.
knockout.
Yeah, Bosnia was a little closer. It went 2-0, a man down.
Argentina went 3-2, and with Cape Verde,
No doubt.
Against Baton
I mean,
Rouge.
how about last night? I thought Argentina, Cape Verde couldn't be top, but last night lived up to the
Oh, you
billing.
thought the last night was
Mexico and
better?
England.
Why?
Well, the environment certainly played a factor in it.
Well, no,
Mexico,
of course,
you
yeah.
built in that expectation, and then just the quality of play.
Hanging
to
on
me.
with one less player on the road where they've never been beaten. They hadn't come in. They wasn't exactly lighting the house on fire coming in. Man, they looked good
And you
last
knew-
night.
Two
and you
goals
knew
in
that
58 seconds in the stadium
look
went
good.
from frenzy to stunned in a minute.
You could feel the tension from both sides where Cape Verde, they're kind of playing with house money at that point. So that's, to me, what made it. Both sides couldn't afford to lose the way that they're looked at.
Argentina got a scare, though.
No doubt.
I mean, that's
No doubt. And that was a
know.
great match as well. I don't want to take away from that one either.
We're here at Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road across from Ruffino's.
Yeah, today's special, man. Soft shell crab po' boy with our special house-made aioli with the homemade chips. You can substitute fries if you want, no problem. So that's our lunch special today. $10 Tuesdays. It's tomorrow, and every Tuesday is our $10 lunch special. Tomorrow will be the beard battered fish tacos with pico de gallo and southwestern style rice. Wednesday, it'll be Chris's smoked turkey club sandwich with a Black Forest ham, bacon, and Swiss cheese. Thursday will be slow roasted beef stew over steamed rice served with the corn makshu. And, of course, every Friday is the lobster rolls, lobster rolled hot or cold, or lobster grilled cheese here at Chris's Specialty Foods. Just getting off of the weekend where 25% all meat was on sale just in time. Man, a lot of people coming in and getting grilling items for the 4th of July weekend. So that was a big hit over here. And Charlie, the stuffed chickens that y'all like to have over here.
Yeah.
How about the bacon wrapped kitchen sink stuffed pork tenderloin with a little boudin sausage and other things, and all kinds of seasoning inside?
It got a little kick to it.
Yes, yeah. And you could do the bacon wrapped jalapeno cream cheese, stuffed chicken thighs, chicken breasts, pork chops. You get all season, and everything is ready to go from here, Chris's, that you get to your grill or your oven. And then you could do all of your sides as well. So plenty of things. The sausages to start off with. So don't stop your grilling just because the holiday season is over, man. Load up over here at Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland, right across the street from Ruffino's.
Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. Brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026. Supporting our Louisiana farmers, go to SupremeRice.com. only real blowout that we had over the weekend was Morocco beating Canada. Everything else,
And that was nothing zip at half?
it was.
Yeah.
It was. Everything else, extremely competitive, extremely close. But when Norway won, I think it was 14 favorites in a row had hit, or at least to advance. So we've had, to me, this minus this red card controversy, this is the best of all worlds for FIFA. You've got the powerhouses that you want advancing. The favorites are all still there pretty much, unless you want to count Germany. And yet you've had these compelling matches. You haven't had these runaways. You haven't had games that didn't feel like they were coming down to the end, Max.
Yeah, and the World Cup, host nations get to at least the round of 16. So you got Canada and Mexico in the mix, which is something they would have wanted as well. It has been competitive, and the thing is, I'm pretty consistent. I always find myself against expansion. I think expansion is typically always bad, and long term is just about money and greed. Look, it's a small sample size, right? And all the favorites are winning, so that argument stands. But at least they've been competitive. At least they've been close. If they were all blowouts,
what's wrong with more of a good thing? A great thing. I mean, it's been a massive hit. I mean, what's wrong? We were in the middle of summer. You think
the World Cup?
Would you rather less games? Fewer games?
World Cup is okay because it's not like there's this prolonged, season that becomes diminished, right? It's a little bit different in an NFL where you have 18 games where you want those games to matter, where if you just let everyone in the playoff, you're kind of not allowing the regular season to matter. There's no regular season in this tournament. So it does feel a little bit
Cape
different.
Verde make it?
They don't.
If they qualify. Okay.
They don't.
No. Cape Verde would not have made it through
it would,
qualifying,
and I'm sorry, but Cape Verde's performance, that's positive
stories.
reinforcement, man. This is a big thing. What took you so long? I mean, this is like the pitch clock and ABS in baseball.
And
what took them so long?
The third place qualification was a little awkward, right? You got some third place teams that advance, some that don't. Some of the group winners face third place teams, while some of them face second. So I wouldn't be surprised if they end up
48 teams playing 3 games apiece. You got to have tiebreakers somewhere.
They can expand to 64, and guess what? 64 makes that solves that problem. So I wouldn't rule out that they will further expand at some point because of the success here. But yes, it's been up until this Balogun incident, the red card getting removed or suspended. It's been passing with flying colors up until that point.
I really thought Mexico was going to win last night before the game. I mean, they've just been so dominant in that stadium. The atmosphere was similar to what the United States had in Seattle.
This is a country that's more prone to being affected by the elevation as well. I mean, they've just been playing at a. I mean, they've just been better. The stage has lifted their game. They're not that good, but they were playing great. And England's kind of limping in, and England kind of showed you like their reputation. They're, historically, that they're just stronger.
And to be clear, like Mexico owned a lot of this game. I know they ended up losing. We can do this thing of who is the better team. I'd argue finishing is kind of important. Scoring goals is kind of important.
They lost it in the 58 seconds. They give up 2 goals in 58 seconds.
Well, but also just the final third. They weren't quite as clinical as England was. The 2 goals from Jude Bellingham were fantastic. They're very, very positive. Offensive playmaking. Moves there by Kane on the assist. Bellingham on the goal. Kane, they each had a penalty. So essentially, even if you watch the penalties out, it was 2-1. So Mexico had more control. They had more momentum throughout the game. But ultimately, it's
how
about
much is that because England's winning the whole time and they're the aggressor and England's protected?
Well, no,
and then they're playing with one guy.
But
one
I thought
short.
England scored against the run of play is how they call it. So England took the lead where Mexico had most of the ball and most of the momentum up until that point.
Until that point. Okay.
I thought the first 36 minutes was, I think, when Bellingham found the back of the net for the first time. I thought Mexico had the momentum at that point. I thought they were the better team up until that first goal.
We got
this is first time ever that all 3 North American countries qualified
to the round of 16. I would believe so. Yeah, because Canada.
Yeah, because that was Canada's first World Cup knockout win, wasn't it?
Yeah, Canada. I mean, there might have been like a a Paraguay, no, not Paraguay, Haiti or Panama. No, I'd have to be the first time that 3 CONCACAF teams have made it this far.
We got a match this afternoon before the United States is a match tonight with Belgium, and that's Portugal and Spain. You told us to root against Spain the other day. We did. Didn't work. Portugal got all they wanted from Croatia. This came down to a Ronaldo penalty kick on a, I would say, fairly controversial call.
You could say that. I would say one of the weird things about last night, and then obviously the Balogun red card, is for the duration of this tournament, the refereeing in this has been mostly pretty conservative. They're letting a lot of stuff go. They're letting some yellow cards go. The red cards haven't been strictly enforced. Penalties, they've let a couple of these kind of dodgy ones go, but there have been a couple of matches where that has been, kind of changed, and that's the lack of consistency, where maybe a penalty that looks a little soft ends up getting given, and you could argue that, in the Portugal match, Cristiano Ronaldo announces this will be his last World Cup, so we'll see if this is his last match for Portugal. That's certainly a storyline in this, but this is the big match worldwide, except that the U.S. now has kind of overshadowed this. That game will be very much talked about, but Spain and Portugal, they both have real chances to win the tournament, and I don't think you could say the same about the second match between U.S. and Belgium. Belgium has not been the same as they have been in the last 8 years or so.
Spain is a favorite today, but not a huge favorite today.
Not so, but I would very much expect them to advance. They've been a much better side to this point through the tournament, much more consistent.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, the Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings, 296-0060, full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. A great team at Legacy Title. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title, 296-0060. The men have Taylor Fritz left after Francis Tiafo was eliminated in a tough match over the weekend. But the women have a lot of American players left, including Madison Keys, who won her first major in Australia earlier this year. She is down a set 5-all in the second set, so she's on the ropes here. So you got Coco Gauff, you've got Pagula, and I'm forgetting one, but still a strong American presence on the women's side of Wimbledon.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. 3 best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
Troy, how you doing, buddy? How was your holiday weekend?
Well, it was good, Jimmy. Thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely, man. So the kids enjoying themselves, huh? Get a little fireworks, a little water, pool or something like that?
Yeah, pool. I don't know how hot it was down there this weekend for you, but we caught around the high of 105 with about 65% humidity. So it was, this is as hot of a 4th of July weekend as I can ever remember. It's always hot in D.C. around 4th of July. It's either storms or blazing hot, but this was uncomfortable hot. So we were at the pool a lot, but I spent a lot of time in the pool completely submerged because it was sweltering.
Good for you, man. No, it's hot over here, but we're a little bit more used to it than you guys. The soccer, the World Cup has been a hit. I was at the local sports book yesterday. They're talking about it. It seems like across the board that the handle is exceeding expectations. It's been really, really good in a spot in the summer. NBA and NHL just finished up. We're before football. MLB is. It is what it is, but this has been a real nice injection of entertainment, handle, and man, this is where, kind of having a little stake, having a little, responsible stake in the game, man, can add to your, this whole experience, man. It's fun. It's a lot more exciting having a little action on these games and just sitting back and watching them casually.
Yeah, and we've seen an uptick, especially in the knockout round. The first 3 stages did well in terms of handle and tickets.
Okay.
But we've seen a massive uptick in the last 4 days. And I think, in 2022, the top 4 games other than the World Cup final between France and Belgium, were all USA matches. And right now, only 2 of the top 5 most wagered on matches are USA matches. Now, granted, they had a weak, group, and one of the games didn't really matter all that much. But, as the kind of sentiment that everyone is echoing about this tournament is it's the tournament of stars. Kane, Mbappe, Haaland, Messi all leading the charge with goals. That helps. That helps an American audience so much when the guys who you've been told to be familiar with heading into the tournament, and really there's only 1 or 2 you were familiar prior, in Mbappe and Messi, they're all performing. Argentina is involved in one of the most sensational games we've ever seen. That helps. Mexico and England, 2 of USA's most close compatriots, are involved in one of the most high-stakes, intense soccer matches we've seen in a very long time. That helps. So, as these games feature the big stars in big matchups, Spain-Portugal, huge matchup today, I think you're going to see the total handle for some of these knockout round games, not including U.S., get up to where our most wagered on U.S. matches of all time have been.
Troy, now that we're in the knockout round, is it more traditional bets, or it's like the bets to advance as opposed to the three-way that includes a draw? What's the percentage you think?
A lot more to advance.
Okay.
We've only had 3 matches go to extras, or maybe 4. So it's been a little bit less than I would have expected, but you are seeing more to advance wagers taking place, and that is when I give the split, that's on the 3-way, so it is a little skewed because that does not include to advance. But and honestly, the prices to advance haven't been as long as I thought in a lot of areas. So you're seeing a lot of big bets on that as well.
Well, on our house team here for ESPN Radio, our soccer team that competed in the Louisiana Sports Media Invitational, Charlie was our best striker. He was, and so we leaned on him for it. And Charlie, tell Troy he's lighting it up. I mean, this is like easy pickings. Nobody is handicapping this World Cup like Charlie. Share it with us, Charlie.
Take the favorite. I worked for the better part of the week.
He says, today's card, give me those 3 favorites to advance. Boom. Yeah. I mean, but I'll give him credit. Wasn't on the air, but he did share with us yesterday. I'm flipping to the don'ts, taking Norway. And he hits that as well.
Everything was going right fine up until 58 seconds with Mexico and England last night. That kind of blitz that happened.
See, Max Charlie is our Holland, man. When that ball's floating in the box, I mean, he's positioning. He really has good position. And for a guy his size, he's got more skills than most.
And great hair too.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are laying it on thick today.
Troy, what do you think about the decision to lift the suspension for Belgium?
Oh, man. So I want Team USA to win, and he gives them the best crack at it. He's the best player of this tournament. He's been electric in the box. He's been very strong. He's been sensational. The red card was crap. It wasn't a red card. You want to give him a yellow, sure. The way it went about becoming a red card was weird. FIFA doesn't have a policy for the World Cup to appeal a red card, which I also think is crap. I think it. I don't love it. Politics aside, I don't love it if we're trying to stay by the rules. But also, it's that weird scenario where it's well, if it's happening to my team and we get the boost, should I really care? So but now you're seeing reports of Belgium potentially appealing, and I saw something 30 minutes ago about them like petitioning for a forfeit. It's just getting very messy. This is not the World Cup has been so good. So the stars, the stories, the Cape Verde, the gold, everything. This is not what we want. Being the black eye over this is the best American team we've seen in a long time. Playing a team that American fans know we've lost to, and a very good measuring stick for European competition, which we struggle against. I think I said this last week. I just want the results to be the results and not to leave this World Cup from a U.S. fan standpoint being like, you know what? That's what we did, and we did well, and we came up short, as opposed to there being specters of controversy or coaching decisions or, 30,000-foot views from Alexei Lalas on this generation that failed us. I just want it to be, we saw what we saw, and it happened or it didn't happen, and we're definitely not going to get that now.
Sports at its best is free of politics, but we have known that even in international competition like the Olympics and some others. It seems there's more politics. I mean, one country's banned, one country boycotts. I mean, we're talking about with the political differences, so you can't totally escape it. And I think it's fair to say that there's some politics involved in FIFA's World Cup tournament.
If our country is embroiled in a FIFA controversy in terms of match play, that means we're a proper soccering country now. So you got to take that.
That's fair. And look, Troy, Max can vouch. I abstain. I mean, I infiltrate myself from politics to where they can't believe some of the things I don't know.
This is new to us. We don't cover politics with sports around here. That doesn't really happen.
No.
Max made it funny.
Louisiana political conversation there. So anyway, Troy, so let me ask about the news, though, how it's affected the line. I mean, because, and I'll ask you, has it and should it? Where is the line currently, and did it shift after this news that Balogun's in now?
It shifted slightly. I believe yesterday you could get USA in 90 minutes was plus 160 to win, and now they're plus 148 to win. There's a lot of movement yesterday where I believe Belgium to advance was like plus 100, and right now they're minus 103. So they've gotten a little shorter. USA was, I saw yesterday, like plus 120 to go through. They're now minus 125. It definitely has impacted it. That the total goals line it was like minus 132 for over 2.5. It's now minus 152. Both teams to score basically has to be a parlay piece now because it's at minus 190 or minus 200. That was not the case yesterday. So, it may have not impacted the straight up, 90-minute money line or to go through all that much. His presence in being able to score goals has impacted a game that was already, potential to be one of the highest scoring of the knockout round.
What, Troy? How much is expected? How much now is the handle on the U.S., whether it's, three-way or to advance? And how much do you think the line has been inflated anticipating all the American handle?
I think it's been inflated a little bit, but I do think that the competition jump that they're facing has kind of that wasn't played in as much. I think this is the best team they played. This team is, even though Turkey struggled through the World Cup but had a very good performance against the U.S., I think Belgium, even playing not so great, is better than Turkey, and I don't think that's taking into account nearly as much. Yeah, they lucked out against Senegal, but this Belgian team is, I think, a very, very good measuring stick. As far as the expected handle, I think this could get close to rivaling the 2022 final between Argentina and France, and that's the most wagered on soccer match we've ever had. I think it really helps that this is a Monday night American primetime football game as opposed to, a 2 p.m. Sunday matchup. There's nothing else on the calendar. We're all back from a long weekend. I think this is probably going to be the most bet-on game in American soccer history for Bet Rivers. And probably not American, but the most bet-on soccer game in Bet Rivers history.
Name a bigger game in the U.S. history than this one. It's got to be it, huh? Home soil.
2002.
You got a chance. Yeah. You got a chance. I mean, 2002 was what?
The last time they made
it
this far.
Quarters.
They made, but that match wasn't on U.S. soil. So
yeah.
This is the biggest. I mean,
I agree.
I mean, you got some build up. You don't think you have a little bit more interest than 24 years ago?
I'll tell you what it was.
Absolutely.
It wasn't a World Cup game, but it was the 2009 Confederations Cup, which is the tournament before the World Cup played in the World Cup country. So it was in South Africa before 2010. They shocked Spain to make the finals where they played Brazil, and they had their full rosters. It was a very big match. USA got up 2-0 at halftime and lost 3-2. That's probably the biggest game since right now.
Nobody anticipated them jumping out to a multi-goal lead too. So you had that possible, and also the sports gambling being mainstream now, having this available to so many people has played a part. Now, just how much, we don't know, but still, that's something as well. Max, is this the right line, or how much is it inflated, or is it?
I think what it is now is what it should have been if Balogun wasn't playing, honestly. I think maybe I'm too much on recency bias here, but this World Cup, it's, to me, no doubt who's been the better side. Belgium has not been themselves, and they've been kind of on a downward trend the last 4 or 5 years, I would say, just kind of underwhelming to this point. So, it's so hard to quantify home pitch advantage in the World Cup. It's so hard to do it. But to me, with that advantage in Seattle, I think they should be minus 170 to advance, minus 180 at this point.
Light.
So
even when you
and
know
it's crazy to think there might be value on the U.S., but I feel pretty confident about this match just because I don't rate Belgium that highly.
Well, I'll tell you one thing we agree on. We talked about it previously, Troy, is that Seattle's got a little bit more life, a little bit more energy in that stadium than the California ones.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, than Santa Clara or Los Angeles. And it's just got, it flows outside. It was just the whole thing. It's got a little bit more juice for whatever reason. So we will see.
That's one of the best crowds in the NFL.
Oh, no question.
You get some
And
carry
the
over there.
Stadium built for
Sounders have
noise.
been very good. They were putting 60,000 people in that stadium a decade ago for a Sounders game. A very smart crowd. I kind of disagree. I thought, not just for the U.S. match, but at least one other match at SoFi in L.A. was electric. The Santa Clara, I agree. It was a fine venue, whatever. But there was one USA game where it sounded so loud where I was like, they should play every game at SoFi. It's also climate controlled and things like that. But if not there, then I agree. Seattle or potentially Kansas City, but why play in Kansas City in early July if you're the home country? You play in the best conditions possible.
Follow Troy on Twitter at Troy Macker, Machir. Glad to have you back, Troy. We'll talk to you on Friday. Thank you, buddy.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right. Don't forget our friends at Total Maintenance. Total Maintenance. Boy, it's hot. That AC doesn't care. It's the hottest day of the year. It just quits, man. And, boy, we try to tell you, get on their service plan, be a part of their elite membership plan, which is you get the most bang for your buck. There's no doubt about that, where you get service 2 times a year, 50% off diagnostics, 15% off all repairs. All repairs come with a 3-year warranty, and half of your monthly bill, $39.95, goes straight to credit. So when you do have to replace equipment, you can use your credit. We call it TM Bucks from Total Maintenance. So, and if you sign up for the Elite Membership Plan, you immediately get a sign-up bonus of $200 in TM Bucks credit. So, comes with a sensor system and an app to notify of a breakdown. So, all of this to lower your monthly bills when you get your equipment's not going to last forever, but it's going to extend the lifetime. But when it does break, you got this money built up to where you don't get hit with that hard sticker shock when you got to replace equipment. Total Maintenance, 480-0007. That's 480-0007 and tm-ac.com.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch without Natty. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
So this story that we're going to do here real quick is sort of maybe what we expected to have happen if FIFA is going to all of a sudden start hearing appeals when there's no appeals process. Max, France is now appealing one of the yellow cards that they got in a match against Paraguay. And correct me if I'm wrong, they told us this on Friday. Did we get it right? There's no appeals process for this stuff. Or
There wasn't.
There wasn't on Friday.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they've denied that. And here's the thing. I think if you're France, you've got a fair point. This was a yellow card where there was like no contact and a Paraguay player flopped. Paraguay, it was pretty reckless how they treated the whole game. They were trying to get under France's skin and get players red card or whatever, and it didn't work very well. It was a poorly officiated game, but France has a case here, and so their argument is if you set this precedent, you're going to have to be consistent on this. And if you're England, do you go against and try to appeal the red card from last night and say that the right back he hit the ball, it was a little reckless, but he doesn't deserve to be suspended another match?
You would appeal every red and yellow card at this point because what's the downside? All they can do is say, appeal denied. You just soon do it.
And I think the problem is there's now going to be pressure on FIFA to probably grant at least one or two of these, because if you don't, then it really shows
Why
that
did
you're
you take
showing
their-
the favoritism
Yeah,
to the home side.
It's not the first time or last time that the underdog, the inferior team, is going to try and muck up the game. Okay, but there's also a line that you can cross, and it's kind of been dirty, and just which is not in the spirit of it, but gamesmanship. And Mbappe with his post conference, the keeper, who was outstanding, man. That dude's 6'6" for Paraguay, and he was the reason they could play the style that they could, because he was so strong back there. And it's kind of been a keeper's tournament. A lot of really strong performances by the keepers. And he goes to shake his hand after, and Mbappe didn't even shake his. He threw the ball at Mbappe, not to,
Started a bit of a scrum.
But
yeah.
Mbappe said, yeah, we beat him at this game. They obviously got under their skin. They obviously did, with the way they responded. And how many times? We don't see the initial instigator. We see the guy that responds.
It happens all the time.
All the time. And so that's what happened here with the yellow cards on France.
Do they have any real case here, Max? I don't know. I didn't even see the play.
I think France
in
does.
question.
I think
Okay.
France absolutely does. Now, can they appeal? I mean, the rules would say no, they can't. But I guess, like I said, if they're going to show an appearance of fairness, then they probably have to even maybe consider this. Now, it's a little different here because he's not facing a suspension. This is ultimately only going to matter if he were to get another yellow card in the next match. Then he would face an accumulation suspension of one game. But, going into the next match on a yellow card would perhaps change the way he plays. And so I think they'd have to consider this if they want to appear fair, which this is all about appearance at this point, right? PR, it's been a nightmare. But we have to appear for this to look like it's a fair tournament.
Well, I know that the Americans sat their yellow card players in the final game of group play, just to make sure. This is the knockout round. You can't afford to do that this time. But, yeah, it's absolutely a deal. Hour number 2 coming your way here from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road across from Rufino's. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Out and Yanni. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Come by and see us here for lunch at Chris's Specialty Food. Got soft shell crab today?
Soft shell crab po' boy.
Soft
Yep,
shell.
with the house-made aioli and lettuce, tomato, fully dressed on French bread and with the homemade chips. So, yes, indeed, that's our special today. Don't forget, every Tuesday, tomorrow and every Tuesday, it's $10 Tuesday, $10 lunch specials. Tomorrow it's going to be the fish tacos with pico de gallo and Southwestern-style rice. So, the beer-battered fish tacos, that's our $10 Tuesday special. Tomorrow, $10 lunch specials. Every Tuesday over here at Chris's Specialty Meats, the smoked turkey club sandwich on Wednesday, the slow roasted beef stew, and then lobster day each and every Friday. Get the cold lobster roll, hot lobster roll, or the lobster grilled cheese. We do the small plates like the loaded baked potato steak fries, the crawfish queso, or the boudin cakes, soups and salads. So like the crawfish and corn, sausage, chicken and sausage gumbo, or shrimp and corn soup, blackened chicken Caesar salad, different salads, platters, wraps, and sandwiches over here at Chris's Specialty Foods. Sorry, we only serve lunch Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So come by and check us out for lunch and our lunch specials and $10 Tuesdays. Again, coming off the weekend where we had 25% off all meat for the 4th of July weekend. So don't stop that grilling with you just because the holiday season is over. So come on. Yesterday was a tough day to grill. I'm glad the guys on TV could tell me that it was raining yesterday. They interrupted, asked me to watch 20 hours of golf coverage, and then in the middle of the back nine,
We grilled
I got
under
to
the
watch.
overhang. So,
I got to watch the guy. Split screen's the way to go. You could please everybody, but live sports, you do not take away to show the weatherman. You can show the weatherman and still let us know what's happening. Did he make the 18-footer putt on 15 or not? 16 or not? I don't know. Did he tie him? I don't know. It's raining. I know. Good job, Channel 2, running a scroll at the bottom, not interrupting coverage.
Every Wednesday we do our consensus golf picks, and every week there's tiers to the picks. There's the main picks, the main favorite picks. Then there's maybe one or two that are kind of in the middle, and then there's a couple of bombs. But once a year, maybe one of these bombs will hit. Well, Max, you and Wes Reynolds gave us Ben Coles, a multi-time winner on the Korn Ferry Tour, but never won on the PGA Tour. Goes to 18 yesterday after, I got to tell you, 3 really good days of golf. 65, 67, 66 the first 3 days. I understand this was not a particularly difficult course, and this was not an elevated event, so the field was not star-studded or anything like that. But you had 80-1 on Ben Coles. That's what was one of our consensus picks last
Our only
week.
consensus pick,
Yeah, and usually the bombs are not consensus picks. I mean, you guys, when you guys have consensus picks, usually it's among the top. Every now and then you'll get one of these.
Yeah.
So
especially in an event like this, which is a little bit more wide open.
Correct. So that's why I was like, okay, we got a consensus pick on an 80-1 bomb, and your boy is right there. He had a 3-stroke lead yesterday at one point. Fast forward through all of Jimmy's weather updates, and you get to 18. And Chris Gotterup has got the lead at 20 under, and Ben Coles goes there at 19 under.
No, he was 20.
He was 19 at going to the last hole.
He was tied for the lead.
He's 20.
I'm sorry, birdie you win. That's right. Birdie you win, par you go to the playoff, and you bogey you lose.
Give me, first of all, how often do we see in the John Deere or a comparable tournament a guy sit in the clubhouse with the lead and last that long in a birdie fest?
That's a good question. I would say, and actually end up winning.
Yeah. Or maybe even winning in a playoff.
15-20%. I mean, that
really?
long, that long, maybe less than that, but
Ooh, okay.
I'd say 10 or 15%, just because these birdie fests you can, go out and post.
Gotterup was about 4 holes ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Well, I'd have put it lower than that, but going on 18. Well, let's go to 17 first, because 17 he birdied Thursday, he birdied Friday, he birdied Saturday. Was he too cautious on 17, or just didn't have a great hole? I mean, he hits.
Hard to say.
I mean, the guy didn't miss a fairway all weekend.
Yeah, he's a great driver. His accuracy is the strength of his game, and he was super consistent at hitting fairways on the back nine all week. But he was over 290 yards away from the greens, so choosing to lay up there wasn't the most shocking thing ever. He didn't hit the greatest third shot to approach in. I can't say I thought it was that egregious. I mean, if he hits a 3-wood, he gets it up to inside about 40 yards, but he might have had a really weird angle. So I didn't disagree with his decision that much. The broadcast seemed to be a little shocked that he laid up as much as he did, but I didn't think it was.
Did he lay up in the first 3 days when he birdied the hole?
Well, the wind might have might have played different too. You never know exactly. Let's see.
Was it?
He didn't hit the best drive.
Oh, you were watching the rain too.
But also a different pin location too. That one was kind of tucked behind the bunker, so you don't want to be too close to where you can't get enough spin. He went for the green the first 3 days.
Because he missed an opportunity there. Did that create a more aggressive approach on 18?
I don't think it did. I think it wasn't aggression that caused him to hit in the water on 18 and cause his demise. It was pressure. It was a choke job. And Jimmy, I talk so much about sample size, and it's so hard for choke jobs in golf like this because there is no sample size. I mean, he played great up until basically the very end. There were a couple shots he was guiding on the back nine. He was so talkative with his playing partners on the front nine. He looked so composed, and then once he started getting in the mix, he had the 3-shot lead, and he bogeys 11, and then 15. Makes kind of a mess of that. It's a poor chip shot short and misses the putt, but bounces back right away on 16. Makes a 15-foot putt for birdie. So showed a little aggression there. But now that he's tied for the lead again, par's a par 5, and then 18. He kind of rushed it. He was over the ball as soon as Lucas Glover, I think, hit his bunker shot very quick, and you could tell right away it was a poor swing. He got quick over the ball, and it's only the second ball the entire day that went in the water left. To me, it's very simple, that shot. You aim 10 to 15 feet right at the hole and try to make the putt. Otherwise, you're in a playoff. But he rushed it, and we've seen this before from him. 2 years ago, he lost in dramatic fashion, at the Byron Nelson to Taylor Pendrith. A par 5, easy scoreable hole, and he bogeyed it. He was the only guy who bogeyed it all day.
I think it was a European announcer on the PGA Network. I was coming home from the Queen and listening to it, and goes, he had the world to the right. and chose to go left. Kind of, I mean, it was should we have been alerted maybe for an in-game hedge or opportunity or something like this? I know we have different levels, but he had through 3.5 rounds, 2 bogeys. He already had 2 bogeys on the back 9 before 18. So he had more bogeys on the back 9 than he had in the previous 63 holes.
I would say yes, but the problem is when I really thought he might be in trouble was 15, when he made bogey on 15, the second bogey. At that point, he's behind.
The par 3 bounced back.
He bounced back, but, at that, there was very little. The only hedge opportunity there was kind of going to 17, a birdie chance, where he was a slight favorite, I think, at that point, because he was tied for lead and had a par 5 to go. There was a very small window at that point where he was still favored to win, and maybe you could have hedged there, a little bit concerned about 18.
Get on me, because I said – we're in the era of sports now. You see a guy like, and this is totally different, but Trinidad Chambliss, and given a chance at lower level, and they win. And that winning sort of style of play helps prepare them as opposed to sitting on a bench, for an SEC school when he gets that chance. We've seen that basketball. We've seen it in, Michigan's best player came from where? We go on and on. And so because he had won so much on the Korn Ferry Tour, he knows how to close. He knows how to win. This is not a scrub now. You say, well, he was a National Player of the Year in college, but he was co-ACC Player of the Year at Virginia with a guy named Brooks Koepka. Yeah. Okay, so it's not like he's a bum. Coming out of the Dallas area. I mean, he's small. He's about 150 pounds. So precision. Did he miss a fair? Every driver is right down the middle.
There were a couple in that back 9. He seemed to be guiding it.
So the back 9, he showed us some signs.
The body language is a little different to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Jimmy, I didn't say anything when you texted us that about he should be able to close. He can close in the Korn Ferry because I agreed with you, and this is part of the reason I bet him. He was a long shot. He was playing good golf. But honestly, when I look at long shots, I want to see that he's won on the Korn Ferry Tour. I want to see that he's won on the European Tour because, absolutely, you get these guys who have never won anything in their lives. I don't trust him on Sunday in the mix. Here's the difference. Here's ultimately where you could look back on this and say, maybe we got it wrong. Ben Coles won earlier this year. He won last month, the beginning of June 7th, the BMW Charity Pro-Am. Well, the thing about winning on the Korn Ferry Tour is, obviously, the whole level of competition is much less than it is on the PGA Tour. He won that event by 4 shots with a closing around 71. So he had a big lead, so he didn't really have to close. The one good thing about these guys when they're on the Korn Ferry Tour is now he's all of a sudden one of the best players out there. So he is able to kind of not be the killer closer that he has to be on the PGA Tour because he has to close at a high level on the PGA Tour because he's just not as good as everyone else. He's not as good as Chris Gotterup, so he has to actually close when he's at his best. He has to play his A game. Him on the Korn Ferry Tour, the lower level, he can show up with his B- game on Sunday and still win. That's the ultimate difference. But, yeah, I was a little surprised how poorly he went, and I was on him 2 years ago when he choked that one away at the Byron Nelson.
By the way,
there was concern, but some guys just break through it.
And that was on the 18th hole as well.
It was.
He had a 1-stroke lead. And he put it in the water. Now, AI, we don't know how accurate it is. It basically monitors everything that's been written. But according to AI, the last time he hit it in the water was 2 years ago, the same hole. This guy is he's not pretty good.
He's hit balls in the water since then, but
that's why I looked it up. You say
okay? No, I'm sure
that's not.
Yeah. He's hit balls in the water.
Okay,
he's played too much golf to not hit balls in the water, but. In terms of like a big moment like that,
I said the last time, and that's what popped up. So that's why I preface it. You can't recall. You can't.
I'm not watching that much Ben Coles.
No, but
golf,
you can't find out. The Korn Ferry Tour is not going to document.
I can go find him playing in like the Players or something, and I'm sure he hit.
So Gotterup now ties Scotty Scheffler.
Wins on the tour this year.
Yeah. It's been a killer breakout year for him. And this is a guy who's going into the Scottish Open this week, an elevated event, where he won last year. He played incredibly well in links golf last year, so we got to start considering him for the Open Championship. He won the Scottish, and then the very next week at the Open last year, he came in third. So he's won. He showed you can win. He showed he can close, and he showed he's a good links player. He
Doesn't
has
he
a low
hit his ball
flight.
lower?
He does. Low
So
ball flight, penetrating,
that's more.
helps in the wind, rolls out in the links
Because I'm like, man, this guy, he's one of the lowest hitters out there. It looks like to me, just my eye watching.
I bet
mean, he doesn't get the loft that.
Jimmy,
most
I have a
guys do.
future on him for the Open Championship that I bet like 4 months ago. Like he is suited for this.
125 to 1?
No, he was about 60 to 1.
Okay.
But again, I thought that was value because at the time he had won 2 events. He had just won the Phoenix Open, he won the Sony Open. So I thought, of course that should absolutely suit his game. He's shown he could play well in links golf. It makes some sense. He's going to be somewhere like 25, 30 to 1 now, I'd imagine.
I knew we would talk about this, so I'll listen to the post game, the wrap on the PGA Network on Sirius, and the interview. How do you think Coles handled the interview?
I didn't hear it.
Oh, so how do you think he?
I don't know his personality at all. I know what he
A little
lost.
bit of devastation, huh? I mean, a hint. What'd you say?
I would have expected that. This is what
Not
he
at
lost.
all.
Oh,
Not at
no,
all.
no,
What
okay.
what I'm saying is, he was like, "Man, I'm another great run. I'm just looking forward to get back on it. Turn keep this roll going."
Well, good for
I'm like,
him.
what?
Well, that he kept that at
Yeah.
This is what he lost yesterday at 18, okay? He is a conditional tour member, which means basically that if there's room for you, we'll get in, but if it's a big event, you're
He's a
not getting
B-list.
145, yeah. If he had won yesterday, if he just makes birdie at 18, that's it. 2-year full exemption onto the tour.
Oh.
Lifetime exemption into the PGA Championship. Invitation to next year's Masters, U.S. Open, and the Open. 500 FedEx Cup points, and the difference between first and third yesterday, which he ends up with a double bogey, was over $1 million. He lost a lot at 18. He didn't lose it on Thursday. He didn't lose it on the front 9 on Saturday. At 18 on Sunday, he just lost 2 years worth of goodies.
I would say
basically.
I would say he probably lost a year. He lost all the major exemptions. Sure, he's in a good position. He's currently 6th in the Korn Ferry Tour ranking, so he's probably
He
going to
can
get
still
his
get
PGA
it,
Tour
yeah.
card for next
But
year.
he could have fixed all of that yesterday.
No
if he
doubt
just
about
birdied.
it. He's 100th now in the FedEx Cup. It was a devastating loss, and I think honestly, Jimmy, I agree. He handled it well. That's the way you want to look at it. But also, golfers a lot of times, if you hear guys who are in poor form, they use the public media sessions to lie to themselves in so many ways. I'd say I even do it to myself on the golf course in my normal play, where I'm explaining away why I probably lost with some other reason. And he was explaining, I didn't feel much pressure. I felt good over the ball. Everything was good. I just kind of hit a bad shot left, and it's like, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe the pressure got to you there. You can lie to yourself and say, no, I'm fine, and in the future it's okay. But I think he's kind of using it. He wants to outwardly sort of tell himself that I didn't choke anything away. I put myself in position, and I just came up short. So that's one way to handle it. Hopefully he can convince himself that that's actually the case. But I don't really believe that it wasn't pressure that kind of induced that shot, unfortunately.
I thought 17 was really big.
No doubt.
I mean, I thought 17 was
And
just.
18's
I thought it just set it up for that scenario. That's not happening if he takes care of business like he has. It's a birdie fest. He's birdied the hole, every time. I mean, he's all the previous 3 rounds. One more, Max. We're trying to put a percentage, and I put it as well on 18. Percentage, birdie, par, bogey.
Well, I'll say that the hole did play over par. So it was the second shot in the water, but it is a difficult hole. I think what's different is when he found the fairway, the birdie percentage was higher at that point. The big test on 18 is if you miss it in the right trees, you have a very difficult out with the water
give me
behind.
numbers.
Going into the hole, I would have said 15 to 20% bogey and about 10% birdie. So I would have said the bogey percentage was higher.
Oh,
but
wow.
once he
So
was
like
in the
75, 80% par, huh?
Once he was, yes. I mean,
Okay.
yesterday it was 75% pars throughout the whole field. Once he hit the fairway, I think that completely changed. I would have said, 15 to 20% birdies and about 10% bogey, and he hit the one shot that gets him a bogey automatically, which is pretty much hitting into the water.
Don't forget our friends Dana Brown at the law offices of Oce Brown, our sponsor for our golf consensus picks each and every week right here on Live at Lunch. Dana Brown, to get in a car accident, you got to succession work, you need some document work, you need whatever legal assistance you need. Dana has a team of specialized attorneys specializing in all areas of law. Take advantage of our initial consultation, 343-1111. So if you get in an accident like I did, man, it's a pain in the backside, but Dana's going to make it as much pain-free as possible. So he's going to absorb all of the things that he knows the process and all the rigmarole that you have to go through, and he's going to streamline it for you, expedite it, get you in, pay your doctor bills to front you the money in that way, so you don't have to come out of pocket to so much. You got enough to deal with. So it's he's got and negotiate with the insurance companies. So just make it as hassle-free as possible. It's never fun. It's always inconvenient. It's always a pain. But imagine if you didn't have the assistance of a great law firm like Dana Brown, the law offices of Oce Brown. Second-generation law firm started by former district attorney Oce Brown, his father. Downtown Dana Brown, 343-1111 and ocebrown.com.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
In July, it is National Grilling Month. That figures. And at the Thibodeau store, you can save up to $250 on all your Broil King grills. Right now, the Broil King Crowns up to $250 on those. The Broil King Barons also on special right now. Deal of the week from DeWalt Tools. Multiple discounts there, up to 40% on your DeWalt items this week. Get all of your outdoor furniture, your outdoor cooking equipment, and all the accessories at the Thibodeau store or the Pierre Part store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau and Highway 70 in Pierre Part. Also open in Laplace and in Lockport, in the Lockport and Pierre Part locations, or delivering lumber. If you're doing construction on your property this summer, have them deliver all the supplies that you need. Online, all four sites, go to thethibodeaustore.com in Thibodaux, in Lockport, in Pierreport, and in Larose. Thibodeau store and thethibodeaustore.com. All-Star teams announced this weekend. Paul Skeens makes it for the third consecutive season. Only one player in LSU baseball history has made more than three All-Star teams. Jimmy, you ought to know that
Joey
one.
Bell?
Joey Bell, five-time All-Star. Made it every year between 1993 and 97.
Okay, 5 straight years. Okay.
Skeens, his third selection, joins Alex Bregman, who has made 3 All-Star teams, Alvin Dark, Brian Wilson, and DJ LeMahieu, all making 3 All-Star teams. So Skeens, who went through just a blistering stretch after opening day for about 6 or 7 starts, 6 or 7, 8 starts, got the ERA back down below 2, has slumped of late. We've talked about that, but he still makes the All-Star team. Jacob Mizorowski, I would think, who's at one time an LSU signee, probably get the start. Leads all pitchers with a .147 ERA and 156 strikeouts. Jimmy, wouldn't you say that the year that Skeens started his first All-Star game, we were like, okay, listen, we understand he started the season in the minor leagues, but this is the guy everybody wants to see. They've heard about him but haven't actually watched him because he's playing in Pittsburgh. Put Paul Skeens up in front of the All-Star game, and they did, and that was pretty cool. I would think Mizorowski fits that bill this year. There's this guy throwing 105 miles an hour. It's like, I want to see him.
Yes.
And should start for the National
Now,
League.
the only difference is, Mizorowski's been pitching longer than Skeens was in that first All-Star. There's never been a rookie to start the All-Star game before Skeens, a rookie pitcher. So that was the whole kind of unknown there. We've seen Mizorowski more than Skeens at that time, but he is without question deserving, and also, we want to see him go against the top of the order, for the American League. No question.
Right. Some of the other notables, he's the only former Tiger to be in this year's All-Star game, talking about Skeens. But some of those names, man, I like this because we're such big college baseball fans around here. That epic game with Wake Forest, the Tommy White home run game. Nick Kurtz was supposed to start that day for Wake Forest. He was a late scratch in that lineup. Made his first All-Star team.
He didn't play that game?
Not that game. He got scratched after BP. He pulled something or
I don't
something.
remember that.
Yeah, he didn't
Oh,
play.
that helps.
Yeah, it did. He made his first All-Star team for the American League with almost said Oakland with the A's. He is
Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento. He's
Summerlin.
in this game. Right.
Hey, they're all over.
Some of the other ones that have made so many of these All-Star games.
A lot of first-timers, man.
Mike Trout's 12th time. Yeah, the first-timers that are starting, Ernie Clement from
Clement
from
he
the
was
Blue
on
Jays.
he played for the World Baseball Classic team for the U.S. So not a kind of breaking through a little bit in his young career.
Shea Langoliers is a catcher from Oakland.
Langelier is had a hell of a season, man. He got a lot of pop now. They are playing in a hitting-friendly park, in Summerlin, but still, no, so Summerlin and Sacramento. But, he's well deserving.
Drake Baldwin, catcher for the Braves, his first.
Yeah, not his first, bang-up year, but they didn't know how – the rookie, would he taper off a little bit? He has maintained it now. The Braves they've been on a slide. I mean, that lead has been chopped down considerably, by Philadelphia. Not only that, they got like a 3-game lead on Philadelphia. The lead over Miami is only 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Miami won more games than anybody in Major League Baseball in June. They went 20-6. So, no, it's going to be interesting to see how that race develops or kind of comes down the stretch in the NL East.
I said that he was the only former Tiger. I should have said he is the only one that finished at LSU, because you'll remember this name. LSU baseball fans remember the name Jake Latz. And Latz, they called him the unicorn around here. He was a massive, massive recruit, somebody they didn't think that he was going to get to campus. And he was basically hurt here almost the entire time that he was here. He had a medical red shirt. He came back. He played a little bit, and he missed the whole 2015 season. He made his first All-Star team for the Texas Rangers. So I guess I shouldn't have said no other former Tigers. So there was at least one. What was the other name I wanted to mention? Just lost it here for a second. But Chase Burns, that we also saw, obviously, from his time at Wake Forest and at Tennessee, made his first All-Star appearance, made his first All-Star team. And Logan Webb, Jimmy, since I asked last week, didn't really think that it was the reason, but thought we'd bring it up. The guys that pitched in the World Baseball Classic, Skeens made the team. So did Logan Webb from San Francisco, making his third All-Star team. So,
yeah, Latz, with the Rangers, said Alex Lang has done some closing for Detroit a little bit. They've improved their play a little bit. Gage Jump, this is the second straight time, but it wasn't just the Dodgers yesterday. He got hit pretty good. It's in Sacramento, but they hit him pretty good. So wondering if he is going to taper off a little bit. Looking at some others, I was intrigued with Aaron Ashby, who middle relievers. How many middle relievers should be making All-Star? Because starters, struggling starters turn into relievers, or even closers. Struggling closers turn into middle relievers. So it's tiered that way. He's got 12 wins, 12-1 for the Milwaukee Brewers, and with the best record in the National League with the Brewers. I mean, I think they're behind the Dodgers, actually, but with all their success, I should say, that's been a big part of it, man, that middle relief getting in there in these close games that they win. I mean, 12-1, he didn't make it, but I was curious.
I even asked you if he was coming in behind the openers to be the pitcher record, and you said no.
No. Middle, they don't go openers. They have a full rotation. I mean, maybe Charlie when they have a glitch in the schedule where they have to play a doubleheader or something like that, but it's not something they regularly do like Tampa Bay or, just about everybody a little bit at this point.
Well, All-Star game a week from tomorrow in Philadelphia.
Yep, so don't forget we're over here at Chris's Specialty Foods. Load on up, man. You got the stuffed chickens, you got steaks seasoned, or, how about the the ground meat that they do over here, the Wagyu ground meat, man, to make you burgers, Wagyu burgers to throw on there. I mean, I love the chicken thighs, bacon wrapped, jalapeno cream cheese stuffed chicken thighs that are seasoned as well. You talk about really, really good stuff to throw on your grill. So over here at Chris's Specialty Foods, we'll here every other Monday. Tomorrow we'll be at Doe's Eat Place. World Cup, you got your gear? If you don't, you got to get to Dick's House of Sport and load up on your gear there. And where's my Cape Verde stuff, man? I got to get that. So walk-ons on Thursday. Hopefully we're still in the World Cup and in Rufino's on Friday. So that is our remote schedule this week for Live at Lunch.
And Live at Lunch here, Chris's Specialty Foods, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch without Nanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
And return here at Chris's Live at Lunch. We have a ruling in the French.
The cat's
Belgium.
in the bag,
This is Belgium.
and the bag's in the river.
I thought this was the French appeal.
No. This is the Belgium appeal.
Belgium's appeal of the United States appeal has been
Denied, of course. So they basically said that they've not received any explanation from FIFA. This is what Belgium's saying. So there was no way to basically appeal it. FIFA said this is not even an appeal. We're not recognizing it as appeal. This is just an ask for more information. And basically they didn't even have enough time to appeal it. They structured this to where it was impossible. And even if they did have a possible recourse, it goes to FIFA. So FIFA's going to deny, of course. It's a mockery of an appeal. But Belgium has now notified the U.S. that they are going to. If Balogun plays, they're going to challenge his eligibility. That they could forfeit at some point. Maybe they could go to some sort of outside law to that. But I think FIFA has pretty much all control here. So
this
good
is
luck
like
with
when
that.
this is like when Roger Goodell used to hear the appeals of his own decisions. You know how many times he overturned himself? 0.
Why? Yeah.
I mean, if you're appealing to the same judge of the same body.
Good call, Max. It's just a move of appeasement. It was just a formality.
No.
They were just kind of. I mean, why string them along anymore? I just think it's different with this soccer reaction than what we're used to as far as sports. Like, there's no way you show your opponent you're afraid of a guy playing you. There's no way. And
how do they appeal it without giving that off?
You might have some strong opinions on what happened in a game and a ruling and an appeal and things like that. But it's actually about to play a team and you show fear of that guy, you really don't want them to. Man, bring it on.
But how do you appeal it without showing that weakness? I mean, if you want to appeal it and take your shot, that's kind of one of the byproducts of it, right? I mean,
no. You just appeared, Charlie. They were very vocal.
I think
about. I mean, they let you know. Okay,
they could have been quieter about it, but if
they could have done it a lot less. For instance, he's kind of he's a little much. Golden for Florida in college basketball.
Yeah.
Okay, he got to chill out a little bit. But when they were talking about Bediako, what did he say? Man, I don't care. Bring them. We're gonna beat their ass anyway. Like that kind of. That's more of the traditional American sports type of reaction. If
that's
what
you want your
play.
Coach doing. If your GM or your owner or something wants to appeal, go ahead.
Was it? Did remember Cam Newton? And some people were wondering if his eligibility was going to be in question. I'm trying to think. And I don't think a lot of. Some SEC fans were whining and complaining, but no teams were saying, like Alabama wasn't saying, man, no, we don't want to play him.
Now we sort of went through this with Sorsby, but nobody was about to play, right?
About to play.
The whole Big 12 just appealed and said, no, we're not going to do this.
This is
obviously different.
This is not a yellow card, red card.
Belgium's trying to argue they're saving soccer, right? UEFA is saying this is about soccer or football, as they would say.
Of course.
This is about saving, football and the integrity of the game. I would just say, again, FIFA and integrity, They don't go together in the same sentence. Okay, we've seen this throughout history. They're one of the more corrupt organizations. So they're upset now because it affects them. But we should all be upset about FIFA all the time. It's just this one, I think, garners more attention, specifically because, let's be honest, a lot of the world kind of looks down on U.S. soccer. And now that they're kind of showing up to the party and they're a little bit better, I think any appearance of malfeasance is going to anger them even more for the U.S. than almost any other country in the world.
I think they had to appeal, if for no other reason, to get it on the record so that when this comes up, when the World Cup is over, you can say, wait a minute, this was BS. There was no appeals process for the red card prior to the tournament. This guy got a red card, and he got it rescinded on basically a little over 24 hours notice to the game. We can't just act like that didn't happen. We have to put on the record we opposed that at the time. Now, the chances of you getting it overturned, not much, but what did we think? When you woke up yesterday, did you think that Belgium was going to play? I didn't.
No, I thought it was done.
It took too much time.
This is a learning process for us. Okay, experience.
Well,
just the whole
Was there
thing.
some surprise because it had been till Sunday and they hadn't done it? No. But I can't say I'm shocked by anything FIFA does.
But
here.
I've watched a lot of coverage in the studio host. By the way, I've warmed up to my man Zlatan.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's a personality. He's not an.
Oh
analyst.
no. He's a trip, man. He's something else. So anyway, nobody mentioned that maybe Balogun might be. No, not a peep of that. Like they might get him back. No. Nobody was mentioning it.
FIFA came out.
And look, they've got coverage all day, all night.
Because FIFA added on to one of the Canadian, one of their matches, they made a red card into 5 games because they have the right to extend the red card suspension. So they announced that, hey, Balogun, he will serve a game suspension. It will not be any more than that. So at that moment, everyone's like, okay, well, they've ruled on this. They've ruled that it's going to be a game suspension. That was the latest possible time that they could have taken it off. At that point, they maybe could have said, you know what, we've reviewed it. He doesn't deserve.
You say he's 95% now on Kelsey?
To start today, yes.
Okay. Before yesterday, say Saturday night, he had to be 2, 3.
In my head, he was 0.
I know, but COVID has taught us, and then FIFA
0 is bad.
Yeah,
they had not overturned a red card suspension in the World Cup since 1962. So I thought, the the odds are they're not. There was nothing to appeal. That's what I keep going to.
I think the most interesting Kelsey one is we picked up that the dip in the percentage that the U.S. will host the 38th World Cup, basically cut in half.
Yep.
That's a little bit of it because say what you want, great host. We got ranch dressing and seasoning in our food and air conditioning. Okay, that's great.
Free refills.
And free refills and free nachos and salsa and all that. It's all fun and games, but this is the most important thing. And the U.S. It's be interesting. The politics of this is you're full of it in this. You want to appease the stadiums. Also are so much superior to most of the other hosts.
Yeah,
okay, but it's just we're not a traditional power. Are they going to go for growth? I mean, is this the flip side of our American sports wanting to grow internationally and compromising critical divisional games, and stuff like that, and forcing teams to go play, and having uneven schedules and things like that? And are we going to benefit now from another sport that wants to grow internationally? Because is the U.S. the most growth? I mean, it's showing it right now.
They have the biggest possibility.
Kelsey gave Balogun a 5% chance to start until they announced that it was going to be a one-game suspension and confirmed
Zero's
it. Then it went
bad
down
number,
to 1%.
Charlie.
Yeah,
Stay away from 0
always
to 100.
and never. I get it in sports.
But it went down to 1% when they had originally announced that it was going to be a one-game suspension. They announced that, and then they changed it.
I would go 0 to 100 before COVID. After COVID,
right?
Could you finish the St. John's Creighton game?
The potential. You're going to take that one to the grave. The potential for this to get more sticky, if you will. What if they win today? What if Balogun scores the winning goal? What if they beat Spain and he scores the winning goal? Beat
That'd
the
be great.
favorites.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
You think that this is loud now?
So the Iberia Peninsula has already been decided this afternoon in your mind, huh?
I shouldn't. You're right. I shouldn't say that Spain's going to be
Portugal's a beautiful place.
Portugal could. They could win. They could win. It's not a huge. But Spain was a pre-tournament favorite. That's why I used
They're
them.
favorites, so you're going to just line them up. You
what-
got U.S. Spain money line parlay to advance, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Why wouldn't I? I mean,
you slipped to the don'ts for that little Norway. You got that list. That list. What did that pay to advance? Plus 50 or so.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember a bunch of numbers, but yeah, that was it. All right. So he's playing. What kind of chance do you give them against Belgium?
Well, I mentioned it earlier. I think they're somehow there's
He's
actually
more
a little
confident
bit
than
of,
the odds makers who are already inflating the number.
Yeah, somehow I think so. Maybe I'm just wrong on Belgium. They have way more a pedigree. They have way more name recognition globally with their roster. I mean, they've got Kevin De Bruyne, who played for Manchester City, Thibaut Courtois in goal. They've got some advantages in certain positions, but at the same time, they're older, right? You've got Jeremy Doku's some good play. They've got good players, Troussard and whatnot. But you think of Romelu Lukaku. He looks like Leonard Fournette out there. He's been around for 12 years.
Oh, yeah, but 34.
Yeah, he's always been around this team. They're just an older team that's kind of past their prime, and they haven't played as well. They don't look, I hate to say, as motivated. That seems odd. You're playing in the World Cup, but they just don't seem to lack that killer instinct, that killer mentality that they've had in years past. And so I thought this was a good matchup coming in. I thought Egypt was kind of what with Belgium, honestly. I know a lot of people thought Egypt would have been a more favorable draw if they met in the round of 16, but I think the U.S. has been the better side at this point, and they've got all the momentum. Hopefully this isn't a distraction that affects the U.S. I wouldn't think it would hurt the U.S. by any means to have Balogun playing in this match.
I think it's a distraction sitting. No, that's not happening.
If anything, it makes it more resolute. We had real questions on how they were going to replace him. Were they going to do a like-for-like swap and try to just put somebody in Balogun's position and make him play the same way? Or were they going to move Pulisic, move Serginho Dest around and try to alter their formation that's worked so well? They had to alter their formation against Australia with Pulisic missing that match. So I think the U.S. is the better side here. I think it's going to be offensive, though. Belgium is going to challenge the U.S.'s defense like no other team has to this point. And so I do think they can find the back of the net. But I see like a 3-1 type match. Perhaps, look, it could go to pins, and the U.S. could lose. Belgium's a great side, but just from what I've seen so far, I think the U.S. is the better team, and I think home pitch advantage. If you think it means a lot, like I do, I think the U.S. ends up advancing to the quarterfinals.
7:00 tonight, United States.
What's
and
the
Belgium.
best number right now? Because I would say this: if you're going to play it, don't hesitate. Now that you know that Balogun's in, because it's not good. You're not going to have like a big sharp reverse action on Belgium. It's just not happening.
No, and honestly, the line didn't move that much. They were kind of a pick 'em to advance. Now they're minus 130. I think there's a bigger impact there. Troy
said it only moved from the three-way like 12 cents.
Right, and to me that's a little bit undervaluing just how important he's been to the team this year. But they're plus 145 to win inside of 90 minutes. I personally would just play the advanced line at minus 130. I do think there's a chance they can win in extra time.
Sure.
And obviously you wouldn't win that bet in 90 minutes.
Today's show also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors. Markets adjust. We adapt. CoastalCapitalADV.com. In your pursuit of retirement, you want to get solid financial advice. You want to have a plan. Don't wait later on to ask those pertinent questions like, when can I retire? What will my standard of living be? No matter what your age is, no matter what your current financial situation is, they can put a plan that's specifically tailored to you and your family's needs. That's what they've done for us. We've been very, very pleased with the results there. CoastalCapitalADV.com to talk to Phil Fontenot and his staff. Make an appointment, Coastal Capital ADV. Coastal Capital Advisors, member FINRA, SIPC. Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.